Okay, let's get started. Thank you for joining today. My name is Marvin Tress from RingCentral. I work in solutions engineering and I usually work out of the London HQ, although I think everybody can appreciate that we're all needing to work a little bit differently nowadays. Excuse me. Before we dive into the webinar itself, let's just talk a little bit about logistics for the webinar. We're going to show you a live demonstration of some RingCentral applications that's going to last for approximately 20 minutes. At the end of the live demonstration, we will have 10 minutes available for questions and answers. Your microphones are muted throughout the duration of this webinar, so please post any questions that you may have in the Q&A window, and we will address them in the last session. I'm going to run this session a little bit topsy-turvy today, and maybe the other way around to the way you may expect. I'm going to start the webinar with an answer, and I'm going to finish the webinar with a question. So without further ado, let's understand how you can work remotely and flexibly with RingCentral Office. Some of the topics that we will discover today are centered around the communication styles that you can experience within RingCentral applications. So demo number 1 is going to focus on our messaging capability, whether it's one-to-one messaging or team messaging. We're going to have a look at the desktop application, and we're going to understand how you can communicate and collaborate with colleagues, co-workers, but maybe also some external participants that don't work for your organization, but work with your organization closely. And we'll also talk about how we can share content and context within those interactions to make those interactions really rich and really productive. The second demonstration will focus on our call capability. So this one is all about the Cloud PBX. What you actually get with RingCentral when you subscribe to RingCentral is carrier-grade voice. It is highly resilient. It is highly feature-rich, but it's also a global platform. So RingCentral Office is available in more than 40 countries. And then finally, we're going to focus on the meetings experience. How do you join video meetings or audio meetings? How can you get that face-to-face experience with colleagues, co-workers, and partners when you're actually not all working from the same place? I will cover some additional topics along the way, but we'll see where we go. Okay, first up, message. What you can see in front of you now is the RingCentral app. The RingCentral app is available on all platforms: Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android, and browser. So the version that you're looking at now is through a Chrome browser. The message functionality can be accessed from the bottom of the message tab, from the bottom of the navigation window, down in the left-hand side of the left panel, which we call the navigation window. The middle panel we call the conversation window, and on the right-hand side you can call the system tray. Within the navigation panel, you can bookmark content. So it may be that you view some content that is interesting to you, but you don't have time to review it properly right now. You can simply bookmark that and read it later. Additionally, at mentions. So if you're specifically mentioned in a chat, you will receive a high visible notification so that you can go and zero in on the interactions that are really important to you. You can also favorite contacts. We support the concept of direct messaging, which is a one-to-one message. But we also support the concept of team messaging within the RingCentral app. When content is shared within the conversation, everything is pinned in the system tray. So it becomes a really good place to store context and content that you're sharing within the concept of a team. First point to mention about content shared. There is no limitation on file size. So whether you're sharing an image, a diagram, a PDF, or a software download, there is no limit on file size. The second point to mention is that all content shared within the RingCentral app by default is stored forever. We do support the concept of content pruning, and you can configure the content to be pruned based upon your specific requirements, right down to a granular level of individual days. So anything that you share within the RingCentral app, there's no file size limitation, and the content stays forever. What that means is with RingCentral and the RingCentral app is there is no concept of chargeable cloud storage. Your RingCentral subscription includes all the storage you will need to share content within the RingCentral app throughout the duration of your subscription. Moving on to call. We simply select the call button at the bottom of the navigation window, and we can see in the conversation window now it's changed context, and we can see our calling functionality. You can access the keypad to dial a number if you want to do that. You can also set specific caller IDs. So in times of flexible working and having to find new ways of working to adapt and react to changing situations, maybe you want your calls returned back to a help desk, your colleagues, or a hunt group number. Maybe you're busy in a meeting or something. You can specify per call the caller ID that you would like to present on that outbound call. We support a call log, and we can filter these calls based on all calls or missed calls, and you can search the call log for individual calls as well. Any voicemails that are left for you will appear in the voicemail tab, and you will receive a notification. We also support voicemail transcription out of the box. So any voicemail message that is left for you will automatically be transcribed and presented to you in the RingCentral app. Optionally, you can also have this emailed to you. You can click on the play button to listen to the message right from within this window. You can opt to call back, mark as read, download the voicemail to your machine, block the caller, or delete the voicemail. Next up is fax. A RingCentral user with a single telephone number can send and receive not only voice calls, but also faxes. Any faxes received to your personal DDI number will be presented in the RingCentral app in the fax tab. You will receive a notification, and you can come here and you can review the faxes from here. Or if you want to create a new fax and apply a cover note, maybe attach some files to it, you can do that from within here as well. So faxing from within this application also. And then additionally, if your calls are recorded, they will pop up in here, and you can play back the recordings from here. And similar to the voicemail tab, you can download the recording to your desktop from here. You can call this person back, or you can choose to block that caller or delete it from the recording list. Now you can see the soft phone capability of the RingCentral app. On an active call, you are contextually presented with call control buttons that are relevant to the stage of call that you are in. So here you can see I'm in a voice call. I can hold this call. If I want to add another participant to this call and create an ad hoc conference, I can do that also. Or if I want to transfer it to a user, I can do that too. If call recording is configured, you can manually start the recording from here. You can also park the call, or if you want to leave this device, maybe you need to leave your house or office to go to a meeting, you can choose to flip this call to another device. The call won't drop, it'll be handed across to your other device, you jump in the car, you carry on to your meeting. Meetings are natively built into the application too. So I have my calendar integration turned on. You can integrate into your 365 calendar or your Google Calendar. And the first thing that this integration gives you is presence update by calendar status. So the RingCentral app can tell that I'm in a meeting, and it shows my telephony presence as being on a call. That is driven from your calendar, 365 or Google. The next thing the calendar integration will do is pull down all of the meetings in your calendar into the RingCentral app. For any meeting that has a parsable invite or bridge to join, such as a dial-in number or a link to join a bridge, they will be parsed into one-touch buttons to join the meeting, either with full collaboration via video or just to dial in. It may be you want to share those meeting details with somebody at the last minute because you've not invited them. You can click on the meeting details button and it will pop into your calendar and it will give the information that you need that you can share with that caller. You can also copy the meeting invitation directly from the RingCentral app and paste it into an invite or even a group or one-to-one message. But not everybody wants to use the RingCentral app. So how can that work? Next up, you see our 365 integration. In the example shown, you can see the calendar integration. So by scheduling a meeting in my default calendar application through a browser, I can insert meeting invitation details into the invite right from within the invite itself. And we also see this soft phone. So this is the RingCentral for Chrome browser soft phone. This is the version for 365. I am in a 365 window using my calendar, but it works across all 365 applications. So as you switch from calendar to email to another 365 application, this soft phone and the live calls that you're on at that particular time and all of your call control functions will follow you too. You'll see the same experience in Google G Suite. So again, we have this concept of an embedded soft phone, and we get the full functionality with the soft phone, like you do with 365, to click to dial, where it can recognize telephone numbers, a full keypad capability with CLI presentation, and call logs, with messaging and contact consolidation. This also works with Microsoft Teams. If you access Microsoft Teams through a web browser, you can embed the soft phone within here as well. So you can snap in highly reliable real-time communications with a 5 nines SLA into the Microsoft Teams desktop. We call this the widget. And the other thing that you can do with the widget is maybe you have another application that you would like to embed RingCentral communications into. Maybe using a separate desktop application doesn't quite work for you, and you have another line of business system that you'd like to use as your desktop of choice. We can give you the code for this widget. You can drop that into your application, and you can embed this soft phone in your application too. All of these integrations are available through the RingCentral application integration gallery, through the Chrome Web Store, through the Teams App Store. Basically, we're in every app store, and you can download the integrations from there. They're also all included with your RingCentral subscription. So, as soon as you subscribe to RingCentral, you have over 200 integrations available that you can download and use with RingCentral, covering every major platform you can think of: Salesforce, Oracle, Zoho, HubSpot, GitHub. They're all in there. Okay, moving on quickly. So we are more transient as a race nowadays. I think recent events have kind of pushed that on another notch. But we spend a lot of time traveling. We spend a lot of time in between places and moving around, and it's really important when you are flexibly working and remote working that you understand, is this actually working? How well is this working? How can we get hold of the data to understand exactly what impact flexible working is having on our business? So baked into the RingCentral Office platform, we also have analytics. There are multiple options within analytics. but I'm going to start with live reports. This is a real-time view that can be displayed on a wallboard dashboard or a team leader's desktop. And it's really, this is what is happening in my business right now. How many people are available? How many calls are being answered? More importantly, how many calls are not being answered? How many calls are we missing? How many customers are not getting the service that they need? So this is live reports. Another good example is adoption and usage. So we've decided to make use of this great technology to introduce flexible working. How is that going for us? Who is our most prolific messenger? Who is not using messaging? Who's our most prolific video user? Who doesn't use video at all? So the adoption and usage report is a really good way to understand how your organization is adopting this new service. You can see that this is a beta service, and it's a really good example of how RingCentral, as a true cloud service, update our platform quarterly like clockwork. Those updates become available as part of your subscription. You just start using them. But there's one device we've not looked at yet, and it's the most important one, in some opinion, and it's the mobile phone. How can I benefit from all of that on a mobile phone? All of that is great, communication, collaboration. What about analytics? What about reporting? What about administration? How can I do all that? Well, put simply, everything that RingCentral do, we do it on every device. So right now you can see the iOS application. You can see that I'm on an active call. If you remember, I showed you the active call controls on the desktop app a little while ago. We've got this green banner here where we can switch the call to this device. So you simply press the green banner, the call comes to you, you jump in the car and you move off. It's got an extremely similar feel to the desktop application. In fact, the way that we develop our apps, we start with the mobile device because it's the smallest screen. And once we get the user experience right there, it becomes easy to broaden it out on devices with larger real estate and screens. So it's the same experience no matter which device you're using. But we can also view analytics from here. How is my call center performing? How is my organization reacting and adapting? What's going on right now in my contact center? How many people have I got available to answer customer calls? How many customers are not being answered? Are we breaching SLA? How many calls are waiting to be answered? So I've identified that I've got a problem on the admin queue. Using my mobile device, I can jump into system configuration. I can jump into the group. And I can add some new members in 5 button clicks. Now, I said that I was going to end with a question. So here it goes. Can you do what I just did? Today I'm working from the car. I'm sat on the side of the road and I'm hosting a public webinar and I'm tethered to my iPhone. Does the technology that you use today allow you to do what I just did? Would you like to be able to do what I just did? Do you need to do what I just did? Get in touch. I'm now going to move across to the Q&A section and open up. Okay, so first question we have in. I'm just going to pause my video. First question we have in. Can we click to dial with these browser plugins? Yeah, absolutely. So all of the browser integrations, but also the locally installed integrations as well. We also have an Outlook plugin, and it's available for pretty much every application. They all provide that kind of functionality. So you can use the soft phone with the keypad if you want to, but wherever we see a dialable number and we want to make a call to it or a link to join a bridge, you can simply hover over it and click on that link or number to launch the relevant kind of interaction. all of the integrations that we showed, the browser plugins, everything that we showed today is included with all RingCentral subscriptions. I don't see any more questions on the bridge just yet, but I will wait 1 minute. Oh, okay. Another question has just come in. How secure is VoIP? That is a really good question. It's something that we talk to our customers, you guys, a lot about. Moving to the cloud. There's this concept or line of thought that, if it's in my office, I can touch it, I can hug it. It's more controllable and more secure. When you move to RingCentral, a cloud service, the whole concept of security shifts focus and responsibility from something that you need to figure out to something that we've already figured out. So we can encrypt every single call in transit. All data is encrypted at rest within RingCentral data centers. Data is logically separated by customer. So yeah, we have a whole webinar we could do on security. I guess the message for today is a RingCentral phone call or a RingCentral meeting will be the most secure call or meeting that you attend. The way that we've built the network as well, our global solution, we place media servers around the world in strategic locations. So if you are joining a meeting with some folks in the States, you're not hauling your media all the way back to the US. And then all the way back to the UK. We keep the media local. And what that does, as well as having the most secure call and meeting with RingCentral, it's also the best quality call that you'll ever make with RingCentral as well. Another question just come in. Can I still use a desk phone? Yeah, absolutely. So lots of our customers still use desk phones. We are seeing a trend towards mobile working, but desk phones in certain environments are still on vogue and required. So yeah, we through our storefront, you can purchase a phone from RingCentral when you add a new user, and that user becomes live in seconds. You can also order a phone for them from the storefront as well, and that phone will be posted to you on a best effort next day delivery from the nearest warehouse. We also support the concept of migrating phones from your old solution to your new solution. So in some cases, we can also reuse handsets as well. They need to be IP and they need to support SIP. Where that is true, we can reuse phones as well, which helps you guys with obviously phones are something that you've invested in and you want to retain that investment sometimes also. Okay, new question just in. How can I record calls? So recording, similar to integrations, recording is included with every RingCentral subscription. So the premium and the ultimate tiers include automatic call recording. The standard tier includes on-demand call recording. So by on-demand, I mean you are on a phone call and you will manually press a button in order to initiate that phone call. Automatic call recording is where you configure call recording groups, define who is recorded, who can listen to recordings, and all of that kind of good stuff. The recordings are recorded in the cloud and stored in the cloud as well. The other really interesting point as well is where you think about the concept of a mobile user using a mobile phone, using the RingCentral app, because that call is anchored in the RingCentral cloud as well. We will also record mobile calls. As I said a moment ago, all of the calls are recorded and stored in the cloud. We provide an archiver, a free archiver application. So if for compliance reasons you need to archive those call recordings out for long-term storage, then the Archiver application is free of charge. You download it, you configure it in about 30 seconds, and it will start pulling those recordings down out of the cloud to wherever you wanted to store them. Storage options available are all of the big cloud storage providers such as Dropbox and Box. But then there's also an option in there for SFTP. So if you have an SFTP location you would like us to drop the recordings into, we can do that also. I think just on the call recording piece, when you add a new user to the platform, all of these applications spin up for the user. They're automatically included. So every single user gets a DDI number. Every single user gets a voicemail box. Every single user can be call recorded. All of these features and functionalities are just built into the tier that you subscribe to and immediately spun up. Gone are the days of proprietary boxes and cables and things that physically connect to each other. A lot of what we do is based around other cloud services, but also APIs. So the RingCentral platform itself, a whole host of functionality, such as the ability to make calls, transfer calls, drop calls, start call recordings, stop call recordings, start meetings. Basically, most of the things you can do in the RingCentral app, you can also call those features and functions via APIs as well. And that's really important for some of our customers because they realize that no one cloud service will do everything that a customer wants it to do. So they need to look at multiple cloud services to realize all of the things that they want to do. But then the challenge then becomes, so what does my workflow then look like? Am I flicking between screens? Am I wasting time transferring data from one screen to another? The integration approach allows us, using APIs, to stitch all of these systems and applications together to create a workflow that is more often than not unique to one individual customer, but allows them to work in the way that they want to. Okay, no more questions. I'd like to thank you for your time today. Flexible working has been thrust into the spotlight. I hope you got some value out of it, and maybe it gave you some ideas as to how you could flexibly work. You've not seen a whole host of things that RingCentral do. I would just say to you, have a conversation with us. Get in touch and let's talk about how you can use technology to your advantage. Have a great weekend, everybody.